Hey, everybody. It's Lynn Renee McDonald here. And today there's lots of cool stuff that we're going to talk about today with spirit. Um, whew, gotta just kind of, I think I got to get the energy off of me here. It's kind of crazy. Today has been a wild day here in Virginia Beach. Okay. Thank you, God, for clearing all the energy from me now, please. Any and all unwell, anything that's not my stuff, clear, heal, and change that in me and in my aura field and all around me. Clear, heal, and change it. Give me the greatest focus. Let us know what we're going to talk about here today. Now, please, from love, the highest vibration of God's honest, unconditional love, truth, and wisdom. Just bring it in, the topic that we're going to discuss. I know you've given me a whole bunch because they flood me with ideas. So thank you, God, for all these gifts and tools, the authentic God's honest truth for me and everybody that views my videos and everybody who wants to work with me and works with me now and always. Thank you for these gifts for us now, please, from love in the best way for us and all or something better. And thank you, God, for that for us. Okay. Thanks, Spirit, for telling me what we're going to talk about today. All right. We talked about love energy with the last time. So you're telling me about love. All right. Okay. What they want me to talk to you about today is let me just give me 1 second here. I'm just getting some information. Okay. All right. Okay. What they want me to explain to you today is how wanting things really, really badly creates more wanting. So, as many of you know, when you want stuff from Spirit, you ask and you shall receive. Create what you want and what you want to happen. Okay. Now there's a prayer that I use all the time that I teach everybody that is fantastic for especially people who are just starting on this journey of what I teach, which is the prayer is communication for God, love energy since the beginning of time. And I call it a prayer. This is what they tell me it is, because that's what prayer used to be. Communication for God, love energy since the beginning of time. It was when people, souls, energy would talk to Spirit all the time. And then that space was a great solution, a great world filled with love and light and all good things, which is all love ultimately. Okay. So what has happened is that this world has become strayed from that. Okay. Or is it strayed or removed from that, really. Okay. With people's unwellnesses, their crap, their garbage, being in a singular space within an earth energy space that is separate from God, and in a reality like this where you can really feel things and see things and get things, in a reality like this, it's very hard to believe that you're not just you, separate, alone from everybody else in God, and there's so many beliefs about dying and death and all of that crap that keeps you thinking that you're singular and just this is you and that's all you have, and it's just you in this crazy big world. But the truth is nothing further from that is the truth. Okay, so in other words, the truth is not that at all. All right, so what we're going to talk about today is prayer is communication with God. So it's in the prayer that I use, that I tell everybody, and this is it. Thank you, God, love energy, for this for me. You're going to ask for what it is that you want in the best way for me and all, or something better. This is and thank you, God, for that for me. This is a super high vibrational prayer, super channeled, okay, from the highest form of Christ consciousness to start you on your path of working consciously with a love energy, or that is a God. And it gives you a whole solution. And everything that I teach is based on this. This is your fastest, easiest way to enlightenment. It's Christ consciousness. So the reason I'm bringing this up is because this starts you on your way to get you to where you want to go, okay? And this is the beginning of your whole new world and your whole new life. But one of the things that I must talk to you about is you use this prayer for everything, for conscious creating everything in your life. Now, when I say creating, people are like, oh, I can't find my keys. Create a pair of keys, right? Or create your keys, the ones that you lost. Or I need a pen to write with. Thank you, God, for the pen to write with. And you find a pen, right? And a pen appears in this 3D reality, right? Okay, so what people miss is that they have the power to create their days, their vacations, everything about their life. They have the power to create that. Okay. So everything from all your relationships, that suck or may not suck, or are great or are not great, or what you want to happen from your vacations, everything about your vacations, everything about your family, to love your family, have the best relationships, handle the situations in the moment where you're not getting along with somebody, or you disagree, or you don't understand something, or you're failing a test, or you're failing a subject. You have all the power. Everybody thinks, oh, I can only create things that I want, like paper things in this 3D world, or you know what I'm saying? So there is so much that we're not even aware of that we can create. Like in the moment when somebody's giving you a hard time, like you have to, if you don't get along with somebody. So let's say one of my clients doesn't get along with their mother. So I tell her, before you go over there, create what you want to happen. You want to have a great time with her? Thanks God for that for us, from love. Let the whole time be excellent. Let us not be mean and unwell to each other. Let us come from love. Let us have the best meal, the best time, the best friendship, the best of everything from love. All right. So you use the prayer, you create that in the space where I say what it is that you want. Okay. So you put that right in there and you create it. So you have the ability to stop unwell situations before they even come to a head. And when you read energy and know how people are and understand how they are, act, and behave, all right, because their habits and patterns tell you everything about them. So, and usually a leopard doesn't change his spots. So unless they're working with spirit, they're probably in that same society, reality, vibration in this earth world, and they're not going to be in that space where they're going to change, okay, in any dramatic way. And if they do, they're probably on meds that they got from a doctor, or they have an alcohol or psychological problem many times, or an unwellness in some way, shape, or form, because this is what happens and how people cope on all levels, or physical illnesses. So on all levels, this is how people cope in this reality, okay? When they can't get out of this space and they don't see a solution and they don't know how to deal because nobody teaches them and tells them, when really all the power that they are and have is right here from love, okay? So they have the power, but if they're not consciously aware of it, they're not able to get out of their belief system, and they're in the society space, space vibration, so to speak, they can't get out of there. And that's where the leopards are that don't change their spots, okay? You're a leopard that does change his spot, changes spots, then you're working with God or love energy as much as you can. And all you got to do is start. As soon as you start, your vibration raises, and it keeps being raised. You are super protected by love and light because you're consciously working with it. So all the magic that is all of God is your magic, your personal Harry Potter stash, okay? It's everything, okay? Everything that you are, okay? So you hook into that. This is all of what I teach. Working with prayer, creating your reality, hooking into that God love energy, okay? And remember, people do not change. So you'll know about them, by what they do, all right? And we've talked about that many times as well. So in this God love energy space, if you read people's patterns, from this reality, and that, like that girl says to me, oh, I'm going to have lunch with my mother and I'm freaking dreading it, right? Or my father and I'm dreading it, or whoever it is, right? Then you clear the consciousness in you that is making you dread it and is unwell. And you ask God to clear, heal, and change it in your soul and in all that you are. Be, say, do, and create. And then the best way for you and all or something better. And boom, it's gone. All right. So this is all variations of what I teach in the simplest way, so that everybody out here in Earth World, in layman's terms, can really get spirituality and get it. Okay. And this is what I teach. This is what my soul came in here to do. So you can take these tools and start using them, because they will change your life. Okay. So I said to her, create what you want. Clear all your blocks that stop you from having a good time with your mom, that stop you from having the best loving relationship with your mom. Create the lunch date. Create where you want to go, what you're going to eat, the dessert that you're going to have, the friendship, the people you meet, the best waitress, the best waiter, the best parking space, the best clothes to wear, the best hair day, anything that you want to create, the best fun with your mom. You are the creator of your reality. You're the master artist. Working with love energy, you have all the tools at the highest vibration that is God. And the second you start, you are super protected, and you start vibrating higher and higher and higher. Can't not happen that way, okay? Because that's how it truly works. The second you start consciously working with God, we're all always working with God in some way, shape, or form. The difference is that what I do is teach what Christ taught, which is the fastest way there that exists in this reality and in all that is, and you will know this because people take lifetimes to get enlightenment. If you do this, Christ had the perfect formula. What did he do? He just talked to God, for Pete's sake, right? All the time, and work with that love energy. And then he would learn all this stuff, and all this stuff would come in, and he would do, all right, from love, and work with spirit and love energy all the time. So this is all part of the beginning of this segment, all right, which brings me to, you have the power to create anything and everything. Unwell situations, you don't know what to do when you're in a shitty situation, and let's say you get bombarded and you didn't see something coming, like your neighbor who you don't get along with, you're trying to go somewhere and you go outside and oh my God, they're out there and they're yelling and screaming about your garbage being all over the road, or something crazy like that happens. In the moment, ask God, come and speak through me now and handle this situation from love. Boom. Thank you, God, for that for me. And you will be amazed what happens. Spirit will speak through you and you'll be like, oh my God, I can't believe this is really happening, because this is the truth of how it works. And Spirit will speak through you, diffuse the situation from love. You will be shocked as shit because you won't be able to think, to believe the words that you're saying that are coming through you, channeled through you, through your heart space, that you're speaking to these people to alleviate the situation right there in the now. Thanks, God, for handling this now for me from love. Boom. And you have all the power, okay? So a really good example to explain this to you is that you have all the power in every single situation. Okay, is that I went to a show event one time, and this is a while back. This has got to be like 3 or 4 years ago at least. And I just started going out on the road, and I was like in a lean-to area, and I was doing an outside event. Like they had a lean-to where the vendors were set up there, and other spaces around the place, around the grounds. And so what happened was I had my art and all my spirit products, and I was out there, and these 2 young girls who were like 19 and 18, and they were best friends, and they were kind of with their aunt, and they started to talk to me about what I do, and they were like, are you a witch? Are you a witch? And I'm like, no. I'm like, I teach about love energy. That's what I said to them. I said, when you work with God or love energy, you can change anything and everything in your life. I said, and this is basically the best way to do this, right? So I started to tell them all these cool things from love, right? And they were all excited. But then I don't know what happened. Something strange happened to the aunt that was with them. And I was like, oh shit. Because she comes running over and she starts yelling at me. And in front of like 20, 30 people, we're all vendors. I'm like, uh-oh. I'm like, oh shit, God, help me please, right? So she starts yelling at me and she says to me, thanks God for channeling the exact words that she said now. What she says to me is, exactly what are you teaching here? She says to me, what are you telling my kids? What are you teaching here? She goes, hold on a second. All right. She says to me, what did she say? Thanks God for all the words that she said. She said, last I looked, she goes, Christ doesn't walk on, I'm not like Christ and I can't walk on water. And what are you telling these kids? And what exactly are your beliefs? And she got really, really nasty and unwell with it. Okay, so she's like, what exactly do you teach and who are you? And there's all this crazy shit. And I was like, okay, God. And I'm saying to myself through my higher self, I'm going, okay, God, I have a problem here. All right. So instantly I'm in this space. Now I'm talking to you about this. I did not say this in words to her. And I said, God, speak through me now from love, please. And then all of a sudden, this woman who's screaming at me in front of all these people, I said, and handle this from love and let me be free of this now, please, God. And that's what I said, because this woman was clearly verbally attacking me based on her beliefs and her unwellness and her religious stuff and whatever else was coming out of her. But she felt unwell with what I was doing. But that's her shit. That's not my shit. So from love, I draw on love energy that is God to handle this, right? So that's what you do. So what did I say? I said, God, speak through me now, please, right? And so I just looked at her and I said, hey, we can have different beliefs from a place of love. I said, and these were the words that came out of me. And we can come from love when we speak to each other. And I was just as shocked as you probably are now hearing these words, because I was like, who said that? Right? Because it was me. These words came from love energy through my channel, through my soul, through me to alleviate the situation from love, because I asked God to be free of this unwellness. I asked God to handle this now, please, from love. And lo and behold, I asked them to speak through me. Okay. All of a sudden, those are the words that what I'm saying. We can have different beliefs when we come, but we can also come from love with each other. And then you know what happened? She shut up, didn't say two more words, and walked away. In the meantime, everybody is looking at me, right? And I'm like, right? Because you know what that's like. It's like, oh my God, shitstorm. And it's not just a shitstorm, it's in front of everybody. So this is a huge story of mine where I called in spirit in that moment, and spirit will always be for you. Be there for you. Love energy, right? So they will handle this situation from love, okay? And so you always have the power. You can create before, you can create after, you can not after, but you can always create after you create stuff, of course, but you can create before the time happens, like your vacation, when you're going to go to dinner, when you know you're going to see somebody. But in the moment, or what you want to do for your day, the day before, as much time before as you can, so you give the love energy magic that is God the time to create it for you, okay? So, but also in the moment, you have all the power. You have all the power, okay? And I will tell you another story that is crazy like this, okay? That has happened to me like that, where I had to call in God in the moment, or love energy, because really what Christ said, and without getting all crazy religious with it, all right, I will quote Christ quite a bit when it is warranted, and it is the God's honest truth for what we're teaching here, okay? Because this is what we teach, okay? Love energy, all right? So what Christ basically said is, in your moment of need, God will always be there, and no shit, that is the truth. That woman was coming at me, yelling at me like a steam train, and spirit, boom, handled it like that, right? So, okay, that's one story. I got another real good one too. And this is what happened when I was in my early 30s. I had a gentleman that I loved, and I wouldn't marry him. And I was like, I couldn't decide why I wouldn't marry him, right? And I didn't know, and all this stuff went down. And what ultimately happened is I just didn't feel right about it, right? And so we had been living together for a while, and one night we had an issue, and the issue was we had a disagreement. He wanted to go somewhere with another girl, okay? And we were living together, and I had just come home from a trip because my family was ill, and I came home from a trip, and we were living together. And what happened is, so he comes to me when I get home. I'm like, hey, so-and-so. And he's like, hey. He goes, do you mind if I go out with so-and-so? And I'm like, who? I'm like, what? I'm like, are you like, do we not live together? I'm like, do we not have a relationship? And you're asking me to go out with another girl? I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, and that's what I was like, because this is way back when. And it's a space we were all in at the time. And so, but what happens is, he says, well, he goes, yeah, I want to go out with this other girl. And I said, well, why don't you want to go out with me? And he says, because you're no fun anymore. And I said, I'm no fun anymore. I said, well, if I'm no fun anymore, then this relationship is over. And then came the very reason why I knew in my moment that I did not marry him. Because what happened? He came after me. He lost his temper. And all of a sudden, his eyes got really wild. And I was like, oh, fuck. Because I knew what was coming. And I took off running across the living room. And I tried to climb over the couch, right? And just as he had hit my arm before this, and I had books and papers because I was doing some artwork, and they were in my hands. And my hand went flying across the room. And all my shit went all over the place. I had 2 German Shepherds at the time. They ran up the stairs and took off and I was glad that they did, because I didn't want him to hurt the dog, because he lost it. I mean, he was gone. All right. Gone in whatever place in his soul that was super unwell in that moment was triggered, and he was coming after me, and I didn't want him to mess with my dogs. Right. So what happens is, I'm trying to get away from him now because I'm in trouble. I'm like, shit, the guy's going to punch me. He's going to beat the shit out of me. I'm like, oh my God. So I climb over the couch, and just before I get away from him, he grabs me by the neck, and I'm like, and I close my eyes. And I said, please, God, no, please, God, no. And when I said that, that was actually a prayer. And this is what Christ is talking about. In your moment of need, all right, God will always be there for you. Love energy is always there for you. And I closed my eyes, and I said, please, God, no, please, God, no. And I saw his fist go up, and he was going to punch me in the face, right? And I closed my eyes, and I said that. And then all of a sudden, there was silence. I closed my eyes because I didn't want to say it, right? And then he stopped. And then he let me go. And I ran upstairs and locked myself in the room. And then, it proceeded to go down in an unwell way, but it wasn't to the degree that it was. And really my prayer, my asking God for help, saying, please God, no, from love for myself in the healthiest, best way, and asking God or love energy for help saved my ass. All right. Now, years later, all right, I asked God why that went down. And recently I found out in the last 2 or 3 years, because I had a friend who we were both friends with who knew this guy that I had dated. And I still love this man, but I can't be with him because he's unwell. He was unwell, and the toxicity between the two of us just wasn't a healthy space. All right. But that was the reason I wouldn't marry him. And that's okay. It's because he was super unwell in an unwell space. Okay. That is not okay for me, though. It may be okay for him, not okay for me. Okay. So just to make that clear. All right. So what I found out years later is when I had said that prayer, the angels had come in and they told him, all right, what they showed him. Now, he had no idea this was going on, but this is what happens when you call in God. You have huge amounts of guides, angels, souls, spirits, love energy all around you. That is God. Okay, is here to help and assist you all the time. All you have to do is ask. And in your moment of need, boom, without a doubt, they will be there. And this is that story. Okay, so what happened is, years later, and this happened like a year and a half ago, I went to lunch with a friend of mine who knew him and said to me that she talked to him about this incident that happened and why we ended up splitting up. Because ultimately, as soon as that happened, he came after me the next day. I packed up all my shit and moved out because I can't be, once somebody comes after you or tries to punch you or hit you, you can't be with them anymore. No matter how much you love them, you cannot be, because it's not healthy for you. And once you lose that trust, and they don't change or they don't want to change, you have to do what's always healthiest and best for you. You bring it always right to source. But I knew in that moment this was why I never married him, and it's not acceptable for me to have a partner like that. And boom. So the next day I moved out. Okay. So however, my friend told me, like I said, we were saying that she said to me, or he said to her, and she told this to me, that years before this, we had a friend, and it was her who was attacked with a baseball bat. Okay, who was attacked with a baseball bat, and me and him, when we were together in a better, healthier space at the time, we had seen her in the hospital, and it was a horrific thing. So what happened was he remembered seeing somebody that he loved in that moment. The angels interjected that into his soul when I asked God to be free and to help me now. God, basically, please God, no, right? In that prayer, all right? So he got a vision from the angels of what happened to our friend when she was attacked and beat up, right? And then he stopped. So when I said that prayer, that was what happened over there with him, okay? So know this, you have a whole team of love energy always on your side, always. When you vibrate up here and the shit situation or unwellness comes to you, whatever the highest unwellness or wellness is, the highest wellness is what always wins. In other words, always love energy, all right, is what always is going to basically trumps everything from love. Okay, so you have all the power. You just call on God. No matter what your emergency situation is, you call on God. And these are two experiences that I have had in my lifetime that totally prove this to me. And I said to God, because if I want to be this teacher, I need to know what's going on so I can tell people and teach them, because if we don't know that God's honest truth, we can't live from that space. We can't create the best lives because we're living in a freaking lie out here. We're living in a hot mess of a lie. It's all untruths and super unwellness. That's that society vibration where people are unwell. Okay. Now, of course, there's exceptions to every rule, and there's a lot of great things out there as well in society world. There really is. There's a lot of good, positive, healthy things. However, you know what's best and unwell and what is well and unwell for you by how it feels. You just know. And the answers always come from God and love energy. So today I wanted to give you those tools that you need to create your best reality, when to call on God with prayer in any situation, whether somebody has a gun to your head, beating the crap out of you, is an unhealthy situation with parents, friends, relatives, any kind of crazy situation that comes up. Somebody wants to steal something, or a friend wants you to do drugs. Call on love energy. Say, God, let me be free of this now. God, let me be free of this bullying now. Help me, God, now. Speak through me, love energy now. So you have all the power for every solution, even in your crazy moment. And when you start to stress out, ask God that you're free of stressing, free of getting all emotional where it doesn't help you, and ask Spirit to come in and give you and fill you with love and handle this now through you. Okay, so we were going to talk about wanting in this segment, but we ended up over here talking about emergency prayer work. In other words, times when you need to call in Spirit and creating your day and creating your life, and how important it is in the moments when you think nobody is there for you. If you're home alone, you're afraid, ask Spirit to protect you. Call in the angels. Ask them to guide you. In any situation, you will know exactly what to do. If you can't hear them, you ask that you can. You ask that you listen. You ask that you know, and that you do what love energy, that is God, that comes from your soul, tells you to do from love. Okay? So, and those are really good stories for you for today. So in an emergency situation, anytime, just like I think I might have told you this, the woman, I remember seeing a segment on the news where the baby's drowning in the car and the kid is underwater, like 2 or 3 years old, and he's underwater for 6 minutes, right? And the paramedics come in, and his mom is sitting on the side of the river, and the car is in the water. The mom gets out, can't get the baby out, whatever happens. However, all right, the mom is sitting on the side of the river, and she's praying. She's saying, please, God, save my baby. Please, God, save my baby, right? And I totally get all emotional with this stuff. Okay, so she is sitting there praying, and then the paramedics show up, and they save that child because of the mom. Because miraculously, the kid's underwater for 6 minutes, and the reason it lives is because of love. The mother's love, calling on love energy in that moment to save her baby, and whoa, look at that shit, man. The baby lives. God sends the angels. The paramedics come. Boom. The kid is fine today. And it's all because everybody thinks it's the paramedics, because that's the vehicle that God works with and uses out in 3D reality, whatever the vehicle needs to be. And in this case, that's what it is. To have your prayers answered will come and happen. Trust Spirit from love that this is the way it is, because it's truth. Okay? So that mom really was the saver of that child. The paramedics, yes, they were the catalyst and the helper in this case, but this is the truth here, okay? So you guys know the truth, okay? That the mom saved the baby by talking to God through love energy that is prayer. Okay. And that's how it works. Okay. So everybody, in your moment of need, when you need something from love energy and God all the time, always ask and you shall receive. Create your reality whenever you can, before you can, and always in the moment of need, God will always be there for you. So if you're in a hurricane, a storm, you don't want your house to flood, you're worried about your neighbors, your cats, your dogs, your friends, whoever. Okay. Ask from love for yourself and all to be protected, to be safe, if they so desire it. And in the power and crazy disasters, you will always, and whatever comes your way, no matter what the turmoil, you have all the power. Just ask God in that moment. All you got to do is ask from love. Okay. So thank you, everybody. Have a great night. And hopefully we'll get another segment for you, maybe later tonight. Depends on how tired I am. It's crazy lot going on. A lot of good stuff from love. And thank you. All right. Bye-bye.